Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Belle and this is the Belle Perspective, and we're here to talk about what I read in June and what I plan on reading in July. And I know you're probably like, before you even start, because I already know you're about to go there. Belle, where in the hell have you been with a book review? Girl, it's been about 6 months. I know, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I reviewed a book. But that is also what I do on this channel as well, okay, if you're new. So I've got a couple books here. I want to quickly get through them, okay? If you're new to my channel, I talk about books, although it's been a minute, but I still read regularly, okay? So I talk about books, reality TV, all kinds of things on this channel. Subscribe and get in the comments. Let me know what you think about all of the things. Let's get into it. So we're starting off. Let's start off with the book that was okay for June. So June, everything that I read in June. Starting off with The Deep by Reverse Solomon. This book is like an Afro-futuristic type of book. It is very much in line with another book called Shallow Waters, where the characters are basically African mermaids. The creatures you really never know the name of there, but they have fins and tails and live in the water and that kind of thing. So that is this. It's a quick read. It's only like 150 pages. So it's something if you would be interested in that, you can get into it. I love Afrofuturistic. The Octavia Butler and Tanava Radu, I pronounce her name incorrectly every time. Those are actually my two most favorite authors. So I love Afrofuturism. So if you're into that, you'll enjoy this book. It was a quick read. It was only like 150 pages. So you can make it through. Okay, so the next book is I Am Not Sidney Portier by Percival Everett. Now, this book says it's a comedy. Everett's comic masterpiece. Girl, comedy where? Girl, comedy where? Now, this author is like, the people are like up on him. Okay, they love him. They go up for him. So I'm actually going to give him another chance in July, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But this book was one tragedy after the other. I couldn't even finish it. It was only like I got through 50 pages and was like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I want to laugh. I was not laughing. This boy's name was actually I am not, or his name was actually not Sidney Portier. So not only do we have to watch him in my mind's eye, watch him get his behind kicked all over the playground because his name is not Sidney Portier. His mama died, and just a series of unfortunate events happening for a young black boy. And I was just like, where is the comedy? And I didn't even have enough. I didn't even have the tragedy happened so much that I couldn't even get past it to get to the comedy, y'all. Anyway, all of that to say, I'm gonna give this author another try because the girls are going up for him. Okay, I'm gonna give him another try. But girl, this book was not comedic to me, girl. I did not couldn't even finish it, girl. I couldn't tell you what happened at the end of the book because I couldn't make it through, girl. First 50, 60 pages, I was like, no, ma'am, this is not. Girl, you got me crying. It was points where I had to put the book down and be like, oh no, God, I was mad. Like, I'm gonna give him another try because he's a great writer. But in terms of content, oh, girl, no, not with that. And calling it comedy, no, ma'am, comedy where, girl. Last book that I read in June, romance. Now, I am not a romance girly. I really am not. Now, back in the day when I was like 10 and 11, I was reading books that I ain't had no business, and I think all of us were. Coldest Winter Ever, all of Eric Jerome Dickey books, all of Elin Harris books, like all that shit, that kind of stuff that I had no business reading. I was in my romance bag then. But as an adult, not so much. But this book, Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, basically reignited that romance bag. Now, spicy level, I give it about four jalapenos. Okay, it's spicy. Okay, but it's a great relatable story. It's like adulthood on display. So Yasmin and Josiah, and in my mind's eye, if they were to ever make a movie about this, I think this would be Yasmin and this would be Josiah because chocolatey goodness. Okay, absolute chocolatey goodness on both ends. Okay, so college sweethearts, they end up getting married, having two kids, life begins to life, and they divorce. And then finding their way through what that looks like, sharing a business together, seeing each other date other people. Girl, it was a whirlwind. Shout out to Kennedy Ryan because she also wrote two other books. So it's a trilogy I found out. There's Before I Let Go, and then there's also This Could Be Us, which is Yasmin, the main character. So it's Yasmin and Josiah. Yasmin's good girlfriend, Soledad and Hendrix. Soledad has another book, has a separate book about her, which makes sense because girl Soledad had low key drama going on. That book is called This Could Be Us. And then I read on the author Kennedy Ryan's website that she's just finished writing the book for Hendrix. So I'm probably going to read the other two as well. This was very good. Definitely opened my bag up for romance. I think Jasmine Gullery is somebody else I'm interested in reading. I've read one of her books. I think it was called The Wedding Date. And I think that was the first and last book that I read of hers. Not that it was bad or anything. It just, I wasn't on that romance stuff. I just wasn't on it at the time. Anyway, I think I was single and I was just kind of like, I'm trying to not be all in this. Anyway, long story short, very good read. Okay. And if you're looking to get reintroduced into the romance, this is it. You'll love it. Okay. Let's move into what I'm reading for July. Okay. So I've got four books sitting in front of me. Realistically, I don't think I'm gonna be able to read all four. So the toss up is gonna be a toss up between two, but then definite the other two. Okay. So the toss up, Percival Everett again on the docket, girl. This book is called Telephone. I don't know nothing about this book. I haven't even read the back. Okay. But I'm going to give him another try. I decided I was just gonna pick one other book to see if his story, because his storytelling is great. Like I like the way he writes. I just hated the content of that other book. I am not Sidney Portier. I was like, girl, no, ma'am, this is not comedy. So give him another try because the girls go up for him. They really like him. So I'm going to give either this book a try because it's a toss up. It's either this and my contingency plan, just in case this ends up being crazy as well. Okay, is going to be Blues Dancing by Diane Mckinney-Whetstone. Okay. So this is set up in the 1920s, and so early 1970s and early 1990s. So, yeah, so between the 70s and the 90s. So it looks like it's 2 decades that are happening. Anyway, so Blues Dancing, this may be my contingency plan if Telephone doesn't work out. Okay. I'm gonna do my best with Telephone because I heard he's a prolific author. That's what someone told me, the exact words. So I'm gonna try him, but this is a contingency if he don't work out for July. Blues Dancing, which it's all. I'm reading in the back for the last 20 years. A beautiful Verity May has led a comfortable life. Anyway, ooh, okay. This might be good. But anyway, these are gonna be the potential two or one. Okay. I'll let y'all know how that goes in July when we do our July wrap up. And then for sure, I am going to get into James McBride, The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store. Now, I've read James McBride before. He has done a book, he wrote the book Color of Water, which I don't know if I have it in my collection. I think I do, or if I might have gotten it from the library. I can't remember. But he wrote The Color of Water. That book was amazing. It was an autobiography about his mom. Girl brought me to tears. Read that book all the way up so when I did a solo trip to DC before I moved up here. That was the book that I ended up meeting friends up here, and somebody suggested I read that book, so I bought it. And on my way, or I'm sorry, on my way, was that before? What was that? Yeah, no. So I got it from the library in Florida. So that was, and I was on my way road trip or something somewhere in Florida, and I read that book. It was amazing. So anyway, long story short, James McBride also did, what was the other? It turned The Good Lord Bird. He also wrote that as well. That was adapted into a show that didn't do very well, but it was still a good book as well. So I'm gonna read this, The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store. So I'll let y'all know what I think about this one because I love James McBride. And final. So the things that I love reading, I love to read Afro futuristic books. So Octavia Butler, Wild Seed, or that whole the Sowers. Octavia Butler has a whole thing. Like that lady knew what she was doing when she was alive. or I like to read books about social issues. Okay. So with in light of everything happening with Supreme Court ruling that unsheltered people or people who are experiencing homelessness should be fined or experience jail time, I think it's high time that I read this book. It's a Pulitzer Prize winner book called Evicted by Matthew Desmond. And I actually came across this book when I was watching, I don't know if it was Jon Stewart or someone else. I think it was Jon Stewart. It was someone else. I can't remember what podcast I was listening to, but he had this person as a guest. And I was like, wow, I need to get this book. I grabbed it. And now, again, in light of Supreme Court tripping and carrying on, the way that they're doing, I want to read a little bit more about the eviction process and how, you know, corporate America, big corporate companies actually profit off of poverty and homelessness. So I'm going to read this, and I'll let y'all know what I think about this. It's time, I usually try to keep it light. I usually try to keep it light on my channel, but girl, we don't have time to be light no more, girl. I mean, I'm gonna still keep it light because we got a lot going on in our own lives. But girl, it's time to get for real. It's time to be for real about what's going on within our politics, within our country. Girl, it's time. So I wanted to read this. And there's also Not in My Neighborhood. That's on a different, it's not necessarily about evictions and how corporations are able to get rich off of poverty. So anyway, that's a whole nother thing. So wrapping up, y'all get down in the comments. Let me know what you think, what you want to read. If you have any suggestions, or if you want me to provide you some suggestions, I would love to do that. Y'all know I'm building a library, so would love to give you suggestions on any types of books. This is going to be a monthly concept. And yeah, don't forget to like this video before you leave. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.